All right, welcome back to Phantoms of the Past. This is episode 52. Yes, that has to be correct. In any case, tonight Sora will be handling our recap. Take us away.
Not only last time on the Phantoms of the Past, spirit training couldn't have started out more turbulent even if we tried. Must be. I must be the one to own up to the rocky start. I was feeling unbalanced, hurt, for feeling as though my friends had simply not cared about me in their talks of our final decision of either destroying or restoring the original beings of the runes. I felt they had let the small fear that the Mouther Saurjin had made them all make a hasty choice, not mattering to them that the heirloom of my people would be destroyed if we followed that course of action. I was angry, and I made it clear to everyone present, in poor taste now in retrospect, trying to make them hurt in the only ways I knew it would, telling Lewis he would never escape this parasitism cycle he finds himself in, telling Amrut all he ever was good for is hurting me. I'm glad Judith was not there for that. She made her boundaries clear, but the hurt still is felt. I didn't have the heart to lash out at Phoenix. The only fault in our relationship stems from my own feeling of inferiority. Still, it wouldn't be fair. With boat loaded with angst and anger, we arrived back at the den. I was at least overjoyed to see my brother. He may not be an intellectual or the most emotionally intelligent a lot of the time, but he is very supportive and always protective. He has been watching over Tasha, who, in her own feelings of strife, put on Palm's crown, which will now not come off. She has been acting odd ever since, apparently, and also from my own experience. My brother making sure she is never alone. Have I failed in being a good friend to Tasha? She deserves better than this. Everyone would turn in for the night. I would take time painting my strife to bark canvas, while the others would ruminate to themselves. The next day, our first day of training would begin, where we are flown to a sacred grove with our new teacher, Domingo, a powerful rune warrior of nature and friend of Sakura. We were to take a path forward along stepping stones, where from there we would all face the turbulent seas of our souls. Mine literally being said wild sea, the most I had ever been unsure and afraid. However, with Domingo and Sakura's insistence, I made sure the sails took me to where challenge and strife would meet me. For what is the point of adventure without peril? Only to be asked, what is a place of pain? I found myself in the envisioning of an Aku village, the lives of my people, the family I have made, all speared through the heart by the armament, their blood the paint of my canvas of pain, a fear that the saying, "No one is beyond redemption," could end up costing me everything. Lewis finding himself walking through a plain of grass, flowers turning to ash in his wake, the flowers representing the problems he wishes to disappear. He is offered either a pink petal or green leaf by Sakura, taking the object to his immediate left, his mind thinking of an ideal world, where his mind envisions a cabin with all his students and friends together, the mirage of the tangled within the cracks of his memories. No matter the result, his lesson from this training that he would not change anything that had given him the chance to walk the path he currently travels. For Phoenix, she viewed an Icarus of 30 years ago, a city flying past her as she stands at the edge of Clamtor's shop. The roof would open, revealing the moon, the path to her mother, or the path of forgiveness for her father. Phoenix would choose the path that was right for her, as she always has done. Amrut walks through a desolate snowscape, far away from any source of life that he thinks will end up hurt, including me. He faces a choice: embrace the Night Chapter's teachings, become truly deadly and emotionally repressed, or risk giving us the chance, choosing a family that doesn't find strength in blood. He chooses us. We faced the worst of our fears, and on the other side, we embraced. Past words are nothing for the people who choose to be with me now. I will hopefully find the answer to do with the sins, but as long as my family is with me, I will walk through that darkness bravely. May the power of the Will-O-Wisp give us light in the darkest of times, as we reach the 8th level of our power.
All right. Great recap. D2 plus 1, you know, drill.
Mm-hmm. I am topped off now.
Sweet. You return to the City of the Roots together as one cohesive party. You guys return to the facility. It's well, I suppose I'll ask you guys. You want to pick up the night returning the next day?
I would like to do the night returning and pull Lewis aside.
Then it sounds like that's where we begin, with you pulling Lewis aside.
Hey Lewis, there's more I would like to talk to you about. Can you swing by my room later?
Sounds like a plan.
Should I get the tea for your rheumatism?
Sure.
And she would scamper off.
When you walk off, you notice that Dando's nowhere to be found, and he's usually hanging out in the general vicinity.
Probably hiding out somewhere ready to spook me. And she would glance around, just making sure he's not around, but otherwise would head into her room.
When you get to your room, you see that there's a mountain of food everywhere. It's torn up. It's half eaten on the bed. Someone was coloring on the walls.
Did he get into my paints? Dondo!
Maybe you'll find him right soon, but not right now. What are the rest of you doing currently?
Please remind me, Clamdor is here somewhere, right? As long as Phoenix knows.
Yes, he's being treated by people that are under Mother Nature's watch.
She would go to wherever the helpful people are and ask where he's at and if he can take visitors.
Sure, so these triads here, they're pretty much on standby only to attend to your party's needs. And one of them would tell you, yes, he's being kept in the center of the tree. Currently, he's mostly imbued in amber, but his face is not.
Can he communicate?
He should be able to. The situation's meant to be soothing for him. You'll notice that his forehead is also consumed, but again, his eyes, nose, and mouth, mostly because he has to breathe, are exposed.
Soothing, you say. Okay, I'll get back to you. Thanks.
He bows. We don't know how much longer he has, so just let us know.
Well, when you put it that way, yeah, can I see him?
They turn, they nod, and some ropes just kind of drop down from the ceiling, and then you see the floor of the wood separates. And it's kind of giving you, I don't know if you know the reference, but like the tree is kind of like an Enchanto house.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like this tree is a living tree. So the floor kind of opens up to like this fireman hole that you can rope down. But the Dryads don't expect everyone to come here to be very athletic. So when she grabs onto this rope, more appropriately these vines, it forms almost like a pseudo elevator. And she just kind of ushers you on, extending her hand towards you.
She will follow in her mind. I mean, she still isn't a lover of nature, but she definitely respects it way more now, and just taking mental notes on how cool everything is.
And you guys begin to descend. And while you think about what you may talk to him about, we'll come right back to you. All right, what is Emerald up to? Is he just retiring for the night? Is there something on his mind? You concerned about the crown, Dondo? Because you would notice if you do eventually go to your room that your drugs are gone.
Oh.
Huh? He'll like look over his things for sure and see that they're missing.
Yeah, there's the staff in your room. Very suspicious. It's not Sora staff, it's just Dondo staff.
Pile of food in mine, and all your drugs are missing.
Where is he? And I'll go look for him real quick.
Yeah, you'll see a frantic Zing flying by. He wants to eat me. He looks as he flies into your coat or your cloak.
Whoa, hey, what's going on?
Dondo, he's gone crazy. He keeps talking about stuffing me full of leaves and having an owl salad.
Oh, I wonder why. Where is he? He's heading this way?
Yes, he'll be here any moment now. And then when you say that, like kind of anime style, glowing eyes appear by your window. You thought you could run from me.
Whoa, hey brother, relax.
He's butt ass naked.
He like holds his hand up with like to hide it, basically. It's like he's like holding it down.
Just give me the owl, no one gets hurt.
You've been busy. What exactly happened?
I saw this bag. Had herbs in it. There were 10 of them, all separately rolled. Just ate all 10.
Not a good idea. Also, not your fucking bag.
He looks at you. His mouth begins to get watery. For the first 5. What were 5 more gonna do to me?
There's like a wait period. It doesn't matter. Listen, let's just calm down. Go to bed. You'll feel fine in the morning. Just relax. We'll get you something to eat too.
You're not my dad, Emma. You see him looking at his staff because he's questioning whether he could take you if at it, because that's kind of his identity. He's making it so obvious. He's like his whole head and neck keeps protruding towards the staff and then back to you.
Maybe not, but I'll put you down like I am.
You think you're so tough, don't you? You all think you're so special.
Where's this coming from?
And every time something bad happens, everyone else seems to die except for you guys. I'm happy Sora's alive, but where are the rest of my friends? Now look at Tasha. Huh? It's pretty much just me now.
We'll figure it out with Tasha, but first, you can't do it like this, right? We can talk to her in the morning.
I'm hungry! He jumps towards you, deck save.
Okay.
You narrowly escape and you see that he pulls off a few feathers from Zing, and he rolls and crashes into the wall and knocks himself out.
Oh, lucky me. Feel like find a blanket and like put it over him. All right. And just in case, you should probably go hide.
When you look, you just see like an outline of where Zing used to be, and then you hear a frantic flying. He's escaped.
Oh, way ahead of me. Fuck's sake.
Ah. He's like, you see that as the blanket's slowly rising, he's got like this big, massive bump on his head. And he looks at you and he tells you, I love you, Sora. And he lays in your bed, Amber, and falls asleep.
Oh, it's in my bed. Okay, that's fine. I'll throw up with somewhere else too. All right. Actually, no. I'll go look for Tasha. But you can do that later.
Sure. So you start to head out to look for Tasha, and we'll come back to you. Lewis, before you head to meet up with Sora, what are you doing? Or if you want to start there, you can just go straight there.
After everybody starts landing from the ride with the drakes, he just makes sure everybody's doing all right after the flight, and just start making his way over. As he walks, his mind is just filled with the various images of the journey they went through, of that plane, of the cabin, of all the shadows, and the image of Tyrandrum again. Even after all this time, after they defeated him, it seemed like he was still thinking about him, whether consciously or unconsciously. But it's not really something for him to be thinking about right now, because he already had his answer. To simply do as he did, because that's just how he is, and no other reason. As these thoughts go through his head and he heads downstairs to the quarters, he eventually finds himself over at Sora's room and gives a gentle knock against the door.
Oh, 1 minute. You kind of hear like this strange, like muffled, as if there's something blocking whatever's talking, and when the door opens, you just see Sora with a mouthful of some type of pastry that was left in the room while her arm is like holding a whole bunch of other food, trying to move it around to clean up the space. Oh, hi there.
You doing alright there, Hops?
Yeah, Dondo left all of this food around and got my paint everywhere, so I'm trying to at least make it tidy for our conversation.
Please, you didn't need to go that far. Here, let me help you out a bit.
Listen, I have to be dignified at least to some extent if I'm ever gonna find a suitor.
Yeah, I could agree on that one. As he just like crosses his arms with a smirk across his face and just like leans against the wall.
Anyway, I was a right jerk, and I should have voiced that I was feeling hurt more than just attempt to make you feel like I was feeling. Like I wasn't cared about. And that wasn't fair.
He just kind of smirks to himself. Don't worry about it, kid. You're forgiven.
I can
Trust
only
me.
be forgiven until I give you the whole truth. As she jumps over the bed and walks over to that fresh painting she had made the other night. I made this piece to demonstrate how I'm feeling. Notice anything interesting?
He kind of goes over to the painting that, I'm guessing this is the one of Sora with her back turned.
With the apple.
As he's kind of looking at the image, he's not quite sure what to think of it. Well, it's definitely a nice piece. Gotten a lot better.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you. But she reaches into her pocket and pulls out what looks to be an apple, but the bite is against her palm, almost obscured. In my strife, I reached out just purely to see if he was listening. I asked for an apple for my thoughts from Zabi, and this appeared in my hand.
I'll see.
This is one of the most delicious apples I've ever bitten into. However, she turns it in her palm and shows you the part where she bit from it, and showing how dried and rotted it is. It was like that after I bit it. Couldn't tell you that it tasted anything like that.
His eyes like widened for like a brief second, but quickly returned back to normal again. I'll see. Well, considering who we're dealing with, it makes sense that some unnatural might occur every now and again.
I've been thinking so hard on it, Lewis. Why would he give me this when he knew what questions were in my mind? There's the obvious metaphor. Things are too good to be true. But why would he give me that when he wants to be redeemed? He knows I would figure out that simple thing, so is it deeper than that? I needed your wisdom to give me an idea.
Alright, if then he just like extends his hand out.
As she reaches over and will place it in your palm. I also thought... Oh, go ahead.
When you receive the apple, Lewis, it just kind of prays instantly and then turns to dust.
Oh. Not meant for
Well.
you, I suppose.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
I guess I was the one that asked for it, so... I just don't think it's as simple as the metaphor that comes to mind is. It makes me think, is this a penance he does to himself? Or these are the same apples he eats constantly?
Let's go into the thought that what he said is actually true. That he does actually want to be redeemed. From outward appearances and what he's done, you might call him rotten to the core. But from what we're seeing, he seems to be well, from outward appearances, completely fine. But if anything, it could just be a reflection of his actual mind state. I know more than anybody what it's like to let those memories swell up in you. Maybe it's the same for him. After all, he's definitely had much longer to have those thoughts dwell. Maybe he's just been thinking about it a lot and letting it slowly rot away. Well, it could just be me projecting. That's always a possibility.
There's wisdom in other perspectives. I don't think I still have the answer yet, but I at least have a broader scope of what it could mean. It's been taking up a lot of my mind, and at the end of the day, after everything we've heard and learned from Sour Jin and the people around us, I still would wish to push for the potential to release them, to cure them of this darkness so that they can face the cycle that has been postponed for a very long time, In talking with these dryads, cycles are a natural thing that must occur for things to continue living. If this delay with the god of destruction keeps occurring, what would become of our world at that time?
I don't know. Could end up being just as bad as we might think it is. But if I've learned anything over the past over 40 years or so of adventuring, it's that what you imagine is most definitely worse than whatever you actually end up facing. There are the edge cases where it turns out to be much worse, but those tend to be far and few between. All we could really do is try to make the best decision that we can, what we think is right at the time, and see how it goes. And be ready to face the consequences for those actions, good or bad.
I just worry that whatever choice I make, I end up hurting a lot of people. Especially those I care for.
I think that's a concern that all of us have. That's why we took up this profession, right? To try to find a little bit of meaning and help a few people out while we're at it.
We'll leave the world better than how we found it.
Now you're getting it. As he just like ruffles Sora's hair a little bit. If it's any consolence, at least we know that we are able to go back to that place whenever we need to. Once we've collected a few more of the artifacts, then I'd imagine a few more of the sins will start to appear over there. Just like how Zabi and the other sin ended up appearing. Once everybody's there, we'll be able to get a better picture of what's actually going on.
We may need to attempt to go there early at some point, even after or before our next training. For Tasha.
Right.
At least they said they removed the darkness from my armament and from Phoenix. We need to still go there for Amrut now. And Tasha.
You're mentioning Tasha quite a bit. Did she go on an adventure or something while we were gone?
Did you forget?
No. He's kind of just like recollecting through his memories.
The crown, Lewis? The crown on her head?
Wait.
Palm's crown?
Oh, you've got shitting me.
I guess you missed that last time, but yes, Tasha was feeling very bad and feeling left behind, so she thought, hey, I'll put on that crown that turned one of the most powerful rune warriors against everyone. Coldly, painfully. And now it's stuck.
Yeah, we're gonna need to deal with that.
And apparently the only way it comes off is she dies, so I'm hoping our method is better.
Here's to hoping. Similar to how we couldn't get Phoenix's cloak off initially. Well, how she couldn't take it off, more like.
If they are true, and this crown is cleansed by the same power they possess, then we'll know for sure that they aren't just some illusion. Right?
We can only hope. When it comes to things like this, not much is certain. Just what's in our hands, and even then it might not be. That's why I try not to deal with magic too often if I could help it.
I don't know why I want this to be true so much, Lewis. I can't help but envision myself within Zabi's place. his biggest crime was the biggest of all crimes. He killed the creator because he felt bound, felt enslaved, felt like he was obligated to love just by creation alone. And then spent thousands upon thousands of years unable to rectify this mistake. And now he has this chance, and I can't help but just wish that is true.
It's one of your best traits. You've always been probably the best when it came to reading everybody. It's been a wild year, but from what I could tell, you've always had the best intentions. And you've always tried to see the good in people. Even when everybody else doubted them, you still tried to do whatever you could.
Thank you, Lewis.
Hmm.
At some point, we'll ask everyone, maybe after the next training, if we can wrangle Tasha in for a sleepover. I guess that's the best way we can do it. That's gonna
Yeah.
be an awkward situation, but it has to happen.
Oh, yeah. And that's assuming that we're even able to bring her in, unless, well, able to bring her in through our method. We may just have to take her back to that temple, worst case scenario, which
Ooh.
wouldn't be ideal.
Well, let's hope our method works.
Yeah.
I don't want to face that lion guy again. You got decked so hard by my own move, I still feel bad about it.
Hey, it could have definitely been worse. Could have been hit by my own blade. Who knows what the
I
hell
have
he could
been
do.
before.
Yeah.
But no, water under the bridge, Lewis. I only bring it up because it's purely funny.
Well, he got a laugh out of me.
Well, I'm gonna go clean up this mess. If you see my brother, tell him no more food in the bedroom for 2 weeks. Okay, 1
Will
week.
do.
Just 1 week. Okay, maybe just 4 days. 4 days and he'll learn.
Alright. Will do. Oh,
So-
and don't worry too much about what you said to me earlier. I've said my fair share of nasty things too, and when my emotions were at its highest. I still regret them even now. But you were able to apologize, and that's already a larger step than I did. Be able to take a little bit of solace in that.
Will do. And she gives you Phoenix's traditional 2-finger salute.
He does the same, and slowly closes the door.
Excellent. The moment the door closes and you look around your room, this all that food, all that junk, all that mess, the bones, the half-eaten sandwiches, the salads, everything that he had in there, all of it gone. But it's been replaced. The bones, again, salads, everything. They're all golden apples now.
Oh. Whoa. This is, wow, you prepared a feast for me today. I'm not sure if I can eat these all by myself.
And we'll come back to you as they begin raining from your ceiling out of nowhere.
Ah!
Now, Phoenix, the rope bridge drops you down into the center of the tree. In it, a face kind of just plastered against the wooden walls, much like you would see on the face of a tree ant. Looks at you. Welcome to the heart of our root, young lady.
She does a slight nod. Thank you.
The way forward is here. Mouth gets elongated and then forms a frame like a door, while still keeping the general visage of how he looks.
All right, thank you. And she starts just barely hovering above the ground, floating that direction.
Excellent. The tongue of this tree, like a staircase. The moment you go inside, Aladdin tiger style, the mouth kind of just comps down and closes. When it closes, dozens of fireflies light up a pitch black room.
When it closes, she probably like turns, jolts to look behind her because that was a little unsettling. And then the magic of the fireflies helps put her at ease. She will peer into the darkness to see if she sees Clamdor.
Yeah, you see Clamdor in there. The amber lights up when the fireflies are next to it. He's in the room alone. There is a single kind of like leak in the ceiling, but it's intentional. It drops on every so often, and it'll either smack against his face or in his mouth if he's thirsty. But he's completely embedded like a fly trapped in amber, like prehistorically, just in this massive casing.
That scene would take her back a little bit. She doesn't know if he spotted her yet. Maybe he's sleeping, but she takes a moment. It's a little unsettling, even though it's supposed to be helpful. She'll slowly start to move towards him. I heard you're taking visitors.
Clamdor looks to be in his younger state versus the old man we occasionally see. Even though his eyes are not under the amber, it's like he can't see you. He goes, Phoenix? That's you? Surprised that, he didn't expect you to come see him.
Yeah, it's me. I promise. I'm not here to destroy anything. Just thought you might be kind of lonely.
Oh, and then he's kind of confused. Hey, I'm lonely. And then he says, I'm sorry. I should have asked for your permission before I worked on the automaton on the flying ship. You're angry, I understand. He's like, thinks that you're here because he did something wrong again.
Oh, you mean Gearhart? No, that's fine. And she comes closer, thankful that he can't actually see her. Look, I know I've not been the easiest. I don't know what you know about our activities here. You and Mother Nature seem to be kind of tight. But some stuff happened today, and I kind of wanted to ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Anything.
If you don't want to answer, that's fine. I was told by the helpful dryads that you're supposed to stay calm, and I really don't mean to. She takes a deep breath as she catches herself rambling. I'm just wondering, did you ever regret saving the world, but losing your family? Like, truthfully, honestly, because history seems to be repeating itself.
He's quiet for a long time. Probably a pause of 60 seconds. It feels far longer with the emotional weight the two of you are experiencing.
She'll sit on the floor and cross-legged.
Yes. Sometimes I wish I wasn't different. Sometimes I wish I wasn't the person they needed to fix everything. Sometimes I wonder who's really the one that saved the world? This mind or me? And they're not the same. One is a machine like the automatons that works and works and works because it can't do anything else. It fails at everything else. The other is me. Lonely, wishing that I had you and your mother, and then I wouldn't need anything else. I wouldn't need to make anything else. But instead, I had to save the world. And now look at where I am, in an amber, with 90 days left to live.
$90, eh? You look good for your age.
It's long enough for that war to start. Life can be so cruel. I'm rambling again. I tend to do that. I'm sorry, Phoenix.
No, it's all right. The world is going to end again like it always does, and Mom's up on the moon. But if there's no world for her to come back to, then what use is it to go rescue her? But if I end up paying the price like you did for rescuing the world, then who's gonna rescue Mom? I don't know, I guess I feel kind of stuck.
We have the hardest life. It's so easy to give up and to give in. Become rune mouthers or become evil. Stop giving to the world, but taking. One requires no effort. It's like what me and you do best, Phoenix. We build. That is a challenge. It's difficult. Anyone can destroy what we make. No one can make it. We have the tougher path. And we're better for it.
She stands up. Is the amber like in a glass case, or is it just a stone there?
It's so like natural here that it's like just literally exposed. You can see his face and everything.
She'll walk up to it and lightly touch her fingers to the outside surface of the amber. If I manage to pull this off, is there anything in your workshop or wherever that you'd want me to give to Mom?
Right now everything's under your name. Facility, the base, wealth. Best thing you can give her, the daughter back.
He can't see, but her eyes are getting awfully wet. I'm gonna try. I'm sorry.
Fine. I knew the risk when I took this procedure, the amber. It seems like I'm blind now. So, I had wanted to hand you a fuller project. But behind the amber is my bag. In it is all the schematics to get Mother up the par to travel beyond the stars. I can't see no more. I won't be able to build as proficient. At least not new stuff. The old stuff is just going through the methods. Take it. Finish what I couldn't. I know it's a lot, but if anyone can complete my work, it's you. You're not another clam door. You're better.
She smirks. I'll do my best. Can I ask you one more question?
If I can ask you one after.
You want to go first?
No. I'm not sure I want to ask it, so I'll wait.
Why are you torturing yourself in this prison for 90 more days of life if there's nothing at the end of it?
Mother Nature said there's always a chance. She's seen and healed worse. Mother Nature, she's gotten good at hiding her scars. Her friends she's lost. Loves she's lost. A family she never could have. I think this is what I deserve. Oh, I saved the world, but I couldn't save one little girl and my wife. The irony.
The little girl doesn't like seeing you suffering like this. Don't think it's what you deserve.
All right. I'll ask you. I'm scared, Phoenix. You mind staying the night? I promise I won't talk. Just the company. Everything's so dark.
She goes over to the bag, picks it up, and starts rummaging through it. Even if there's blueprints that she understands, she's going to pretend like there's something on there she doesn't. That is the key to the puzzle. And so, like, she'll pull one out and she'll describe it. If he has it named, she'll read off the heading title and she'll ask how something works just to keep him communicating with her. And if there's anything that she actually has a question on and doesn't understand, she'll definitely ask.
Excellent. It's so much stuff. Something you notice really strange is that wrapped in a folder is kind of these cartridges, and one of them says Gearhart on it. And the other one says Jenkins. And then there are some that you don't recognize from his younger days of machines he's built. From your experience with the Metal Rain technology, and it's your best guess, but you're very intelligent and you've studied the Metal Rain quite extensively and whenever you can. So they are kind of memory cards, USBs, stuff like that.
She will definitely tuck those away in the safest spot she has. But as she sees the memory cards, she'll read off the name of someone she doesn't know or a bot she doesn't know, and she'll ask him about that one. What happened to him, you know. She's kind of figuring these are all unsung heroes that nobody knows about.
Yeah. That one. And he starts telling you the stories about all the machines he has, and that many of them are named after his fallen friends. And then he just kind of goes and starts rambling. Before you know it, the two of you are working perfect pair. You're learning a lot, and you're teaching him a lot. And the stuff he has on the mothership, stuff that's insane. I wish I was intelligent enough to describe how you could possibly enter galactic space and travel and all that stuff. But all I can tell you is that it's all there.
And that's how she will spend the night until somebody falls asleep. She has had a very emotionally taxing day, so I don't imagine she does this for more than like 2 hours.
For sure. And he would fall asleep like 45 minutes, an hour. He would fall asleep pretty fast. He's pretty exhausted.
And she'll look around the room, see if there's anything to use as a pillow. If not, she'll use this sack and she'll just camp out on the floor.
All right, excellent. You would notice that the fireflies would kind of all connect and float down, close their wings as a blanket. But you wouldn't notice that till the morning when you wake up, as they would, when you fall asleep, they would do that.
And in the morning, she thinks to herself, maybe nature's not so bad.
Now, speaking of nature and not so bad, we go to the opposite of nature and probably bad. Emred, you find Tasha. She is standing at the highest point of the city of Roots on this kind of, what are those things called?
Balcony?
Say again?
Balcony?
No, not. It's not a balcony. It's kind of like a carousel of sorts, a seating area. But in any case, she's on top of this patio, and she's alone, just kind of staring down at the entire city. When you eventually find her, yeah, gazebo. There we go. It's like a gazebo on top, a really small one.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'll approach her. What does she appear to be doing? She's just collecting her thoughts, or is she like reading a book? Or
She's just staring down at the city, real quiet. But when you walk up behind her, she seems to take notice instantly. She looks back, sees you, and then goes back to looking at the city.
oh, pretty. He'll sit next to her. You mind?
He just looks at you and nods.
And he'll just like look out without look at the city with or without like looking like in her direction. So, what's our next order of business?
She turns and looks at you. She smiles. Why are you here?
Well, I want to know your next order of business.
Right now, I'm observing the world.
What do you see so far?
Weakness. Everyone dependent on one person to save their lives, protect them. What happens if she dies, if she's gone?
You don't think they'd find a way, maybe?
Do you think Icarus would have found a way?
It's hard to say.
One thing's for
Don't ever
certain.
go on.
Even if Icarus did somehow win about Mother Nature's involvement, there wouldn't be an Icarus anymore. Just a victory in a graveyard. That's what this place is if she falls.
Sure, but then there's still us.
And you'll what? Save them like you saved the rest of my teammates?
We would do what we can. All of us. When I said our business, I mean us, all of us. And he like pulls out like his amulet and shows it to her.
You see her crown like glow, and she like her eyes shift briefly, and she tells you, so you have an item as well. They seem to call to each other, but everyone's mad that I have one. I guess you and your party's special to obtain their own.
I'm not mad that you have one. I'm not here to judge. But I do think there's a certain way to go about it. No matter how much we think we're better or above, these things will take something. And we should mitigate it if we can. And we think we might have a way. If you'll come with us after the training's over, maybe. Just to give you some edge. Because you can't fight this alone.
I paid my price already. It'll take no more.
Yes, it will. Whether you think it will or not, it will. It just has a taste for now.
Do you intend to force me to your action?
No. But if you do mean to fight for the fallen, I'd really hope you do it with some modicum of sanity. Because we all carry darkness. I know I do. It doesn't just dissolve into the floor. We can still use it without having it take everything.
The spirit training failed, you know. Supposed to be a solution for me. Purification. It failed. Father doesn't know why. But I'm completely uprooted from the ability to enter it, even in the most basic form. I went through what you went through today. Who did you bring with you? Who's here?
I get it.
No, you don't. Someone's coming up the stairs. Who is it?
He'll look in that direction.
Well, only one person here can describe what you see.
You see Domingo walking up the stairs holding a small tray with a bit of tea and 2 teacups. And he sees you and goes, "Oh, I didn't know you guys were together. Glad you're
We'll
making
make it weird."
friends." And Domingo will, I have another, don't worry. And he'll kind of like reach into his arm, like the bark will move, and he'll reach into his arm and he'll pull out another teacup and say, "Just in case." Good evening, Tasha. How are we feeling today?
Good as ever, I suppose. Domingo.
Are you feeling overwhelmed or stressed lately?
Better than ever.
Have you been making any plans to take steps towards harming anybody?
Whoa.
Chuckles a little bit. Yes. Many plans to harm any and all enemies that me and what's left of my family, anything that would stand against them. Good, bad, in between. If it's gonna take from me, I'm gonna take harder.
Ah, yes. Good to see nothing's changed. And you see, Domingo, you could, I don't know, Emma, you'd probably tell that these, like, he's probably had these conversations with her before. Like, there's a bit of familiarity to him, but
Yeah.
he definitely is not like besties, more like just kind of checking up on a patient kind of a thing.
He's like looking back and forth like, what the fuck?
But Domingo will go and he'll pour 3 cups of tea.
She's already told you all that?
I mean, told, I guess, yes. We've asked very nicely, but we all can see what's happening here. Tasha's very troubled right now. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Tasha.
I've found it, Domingo.
I'm sorry.
What you and Mother have watching me, keeping tabs of my movements. At first I couldn't see it, but I see it now.
Means you're getting stronger. Very good.
You afraid of what I'll do, where I'll go?
Oh, no. It's not like nothing like that. It's more like we like to make sure you're okay for your own safety. The world's changing very quickly right now. We don't want anyone else to get hurt.
No. She doesn't want herself to get fucking hurt. That's what it sounds like. No, I mean you're basically running away from your own emotions.
What do you mean?
Last person that held the fucking crown. You got hurt. Now you're gonna go hurt some more people instead of grieving. Truly
No.
grieving.
Emret.
And then you're gonna throw your pain and pass it to everyone else. And I've been there. I've done that. Doesn't help. Sucks.
Emret. It's okay. Tasha is under the care, and we are going to try to help her with this grieving process. She just will have to open up and allow us to. And
You
you'll
want to
find
know
good.
why your training failed?
He kind of relaxes and kind of leans back a little bit and says, "Please." Always a good listener.
You didn't let go. You want revenge. That's why, and that's not gonna cut it. That's not gonna purify anything. You have to look it in the eyes and accept it for what it is. And what you can maybe not do about it. But at least fucking try.
Mingo's mouth kind of has a slight smile. He goes, You know, Tasha, your new friend Emret here seems to, your friend Emret here seems to have something, be on the right track.
Really?
Looks back to Emret and says, Really? Actually, we're not trying to you can't purge the grief. You can't purge the sadness. You can build from it. And that sticks with you. But it can make you a better person. As long as your intentions and your morals can stay in the direction they need to be. Which is positive. He looks back to Tasha.
What you see is what I've become. I haven't let go of the anger because the anger is who I am now. I've changed. I killed the old Tasha. And I quite like the new one. But I'm not going to hurt anyone. Maybe myself, based on your theories.
Won't help either. Tried that too. I don't know the right answer. The path ahead is opaque. but I'd follow enough to know where you'll trip up at. So at the very least, don't do that, because it'll make you look twice as dumb.
The crown that Hero wore on her head. There seems to be a pattern with the heroes that are around now. Most of them have nothing. Others gave up everything. And some still haven't finished saving the world. She looks back at the city of Roots and out in the general direction of Icarus. No matter how much you do for this fucking place, it's always gonna need more. How much do we have to give before we wind up like that pitiful fool Calamdor, rotting away in the middle of the tree, neglected his family? For what? For people that barely know him now? For people that have already forgotten what he's achieved? Is that what you ask of me? No. I'm gonna burn bright. And when it's done, I'll be gone. There's no point in sticking around for more.
After Domingo hears this, I mean, he hasn't really let it on, and it's hard to get a read from him, but this all sounds familiar to him. Yes. Fuck it, I'll just say, he's like, this does sound a little familiar. Be careful who you emulate. A hero's path is long and dangerous, but very lonely at the end. But true strength lies in not overpowering others, but in understanding and controlling oneself. Every person has the power to choose their own destiny. Remember that your choices today shape the person you become tomorrow.
She turns around. She feels her face is slightly moist. And she looks back out towards the city. I think I'll retire for the night, if I'm even allowed.
Of course. Please rest and make sure you do your meditation in the morning.
Of course. Excuse me. Looks at Amrit. Looks you deep in the eyes since you know her more of a personal level. She keeps walking. It's just you and Domingo for a moment before we go somewhere else.
How have you learned this knowledge that you have?
This tea sucks.
Okay, well, your knowledge about quality tea is not sucks, or is not that good.
It's bad, man.
Yes, it's a deer antler tea.
Oh, that would explain it.
It's supposed to be a relaxing thing.
She told Sora. Sora told us. I wanted to talk to her before we do the whole fucking intervention thing. You know, where we all try and do a kumbaya. Which might work, but I don't know. I could relate. Want to get some words in before it got too heavy for her. Before we had to corner her, essentially.
Domingo kind of look out to the city. Be careful for this intervention. Tasha is walking a very delicate balance right now. I would say probably leaning more towards the more unsightly side. But you also don't want to push her in either direction. Too fast. Too quickly. Only blood and danger will come from that.
Sure, I get it.
She does sound just like Palm, though. Palm later in life, I guess.
You knew her?
Yes. I had the thrill and opportunity to spend some time with Palm. I was there as the corruption began to sink in.
Are you saying what you might not have done before?
If I could have done it over again, I would have been able to eliminate Palm before she was stronger than anyone else. Would I have done that? Yes. Will I do that with Tasha? That's the thing. Even though I would have done that with... I say I would have done that with Palm now. At the time, I didn't. I couldn't. So... Domingo just exhales and goes, "You know, that's enough for me tonight as well. I'm going to get some rest. Good night, Amrit. Great job today."
Wait, hold on.
Yes?
He'll like motion his head towards like the city. What do you see out there? Tell me.
I see life. Not everything I see is pretty. Not everything I see is dangerous. But some of them are in situations that they didn't ask for. And those people are the ones we should be protecting the most.
Yeah. You have a good night.
And people are, and I say people colloquial because I just also mean trees. So when you're eating your vegetables, be very kind to them and say thank you, okay? Have a good night.
Fuck, I thought eating meat was bad. Now eating plants is bad too? What the fuck? Or just eat air? And he'll eventually get up and walk back to his room, kind of thinking more about that than anything else going on that night.
Who leaves from the top first, Amrit or Domingo?
Domingo. He'll give Amrit his space.
Okay. And Domingo, where do you go?
Oh, I go back to my room. And yeah. Do some things.
Okay. When you get to your room, in the corner, kind of stepping out of like shadows, is a dark, bluish dragonborn. He tells you, you know this man is Boris. Tells you, she will be trouble. She may need to be dealt with.
Yes, Boris. But until we know for sure, And he thinks about it for a second, what he said upstairs. We have to wait before we make a move that could take her life. Be mindful.
Once you report this back to the council, they may not be as kind as you, Domingo. They fear another palm. Mother Nature is the strongest member of our secret society. And if it costs her most her strength to defeat Palm, the army's still coming. Cannot afford another to rise in her place. But I trust you. Still, I will continue to tell Tasha. We must keep our eyes on her as often as we can.
You trust me, but do you trust the council as a whole?
I think they're old. They're afraid. Doesn't help that people like Morgan sit among us.
Let's give us a little more time, but we will bring this to the council.
He nods. Do you need anything, Domingo? And he looks around your lavish room and he's like, doubtful.
No. Thank you very much, my friend.
And you see him, this tiny little like crab on his shoulder, or not a crab, a hermit. Yeah, it is crab. And he climbs out of the window, just kind of disappears under the moonlight.
Domingo will walk deeper into his room where there's a small staircase that kind of looks like it leads in this very large, elegant tree surrounded by books, and the tree has these like these dangling fishing lures all around. And he will go up, put his hand to the tree, his hand will seep through, and he'll pull out a shield. This small, arcane-looking wheel. And say, we'll just keep you close for now on. And that'll be it.
All right. Is there any other scenes that anyone would like to do tonight before we wake up? I don't mind the times. If you want to do something, let's do it.
I'm just trying to swim out of the sea of golden apples raining in my room.
Yeah. You would notice that the sea of golden apples is indeed raining in your room. It fills up about half your room.
Alright. I don't know if this is like divine retribution, but I won't give Lewis any more apples, I promise.
And it instantly stops raining.
Oh, that was it. Okay. Message received. No more apples for Lewis. She'll grab one of the golden ones and look at it. I wonder. She will chomp on it.
It's still rotten to the core. This one even has a worm kind of, or a maggot or something in the middle once you chew.
It is kind of rich in protein. Hey, come here. Then she grabs the worm, will pull it out. All right, you. She swims through the rest of the apples and gets to the Aethon's egg, where she kind of forces it into the crack of the egg. You will feed and nourish my child for this transgression.
And you hear a knocking at your door.
Oh, coming! And she like does like a dolphin like swim under the apples, and then gets the door. Hold on! And she'll like prop herself against the wall and try and pry the door open.
It takes a great deal of effort, but eventually you get the door open and the apples, as they begin to flow out the door, they disappear until your room is empty.
So when she opens the door, whoever is knocking on it just sees Sora go from, for some reason, like putting her feet against the wall and opening the door to falling directly onto her back. Ah!
On the other side of the door, no one.
Oh, hello? Dondo? Tasha? Anybody? I suppose this is what I get for pranking people so much. Maybe this is karmic retribution at its finest. Joel closed the door. So many mixed messages everywhere. When is there gonna be a full letter? And Joel hop into bed. Problems for later.
When you no doubt eventually fall asleep, the doorknob of your room turns and creaks open. Something looks in at you. But really matter right now. Anyways, the next day does come, but since we need to get off of this emotional high before we get into the cheery, lovely spirit training, let's take 10 minutes to reset our mind, folks. That sound good to everybody? 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
See you all in 10 minutes then.
Later.
Guys, a big
All right, welcome back to our game. The characters have achieved a nice long rest. Some of them deep within the tree in dark places. Others in their room. But ultimately, the morning does come and time for new and fun adventures. What are you all doing this morning? And you do know the Dryads who prepare you all breakfast, but of course it's optional whether you show up to the main hall or not.
The first order of business for Sora waking up is to finally see where the heck Dondo is. Wakes up, looks around the room. Dondo!
Looking for your brother.
Oh, hello, Everett. Amrut?
He's over there. Like points like towards my bed.
She, like, peers around Amrut looking at his bed.
See Dando laying there, just naked.
Oh. Damn, he's got the Yaku jewels on full display. Shameful.
Yep. Apparently he did some drugs. Don't know where he got them. But yeah, why do you have a ladder? I'm sorry. Someone else in the room. I don't know what happened. Honestly. It's kind of strange.
Oh, hold on. Do you have a towel?
Sure. Actually, no. Here, just take this blanket.
Oh, well, it doesn't have the same... Well, I'll see what I can make it work. As you see, instead of, like, using the drape over her brother, she begins twisting it as she approaches him.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, all right, wind it, all right. And then a big old whip at the exposed bits.
Ooh.
Wake up!
He jumps up. And you're surprised the whip doesn't hit him.
Oh. Were you expecting that?
He's still asleep.
She narrows her eyes and whips at him again.
He dodges.
Oh my god. He is dodging me while fully asleep.
Can you do that?
I don't think I can do that. I at least don't want to find out. That'd be very mean to be sleeping and then you just slap me across the face. You know what? Maybe I should stop doing this. And she drops the. She would carefully walk over and put a hand, if she can, on his shoulder. Dondo.
He catches your wrist and his eyes slowly open up and he goes, Sora, what are you doing here? My humble abode.
This is Amrut's room.
Looks around. Ah, so it is. Don't feel so good, Sora.
Well, yeah, you're naked.
And he shoots into a corner with a blanket. My sister saw me naked. Oh no.
Got attention too. Jeez.
Oh, wow. No, I wouldn't go that far.
It's the morning.
Don't shame the man.
Yaku, I bring pain and embarrassment upon our family.
I mean, that's kind of a standard if you think about it, Dondo. We're kind of embarrassing. It's our charm.
He wraps the blanket in a way to make himself look really cool. He grabs his staff and begins walking towards the door.
She will still reach out and place a hand on his shoulder. It's okay, Dondo, but be careful. Alright? I love you a lot. It's hard to see you use drugs that extremely.
I didn't know they were anything crazy. I thought it was some dried salad stuff. And vegetables are good for your health.
That indeed. Actually, breakfast is on. Do you want to come with?
Yeah, I feel like I ate a lot yesterday. He's got like this muffin forming in his belly.
Oh, yes, I had to go and clean up your mess in our room. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I'm gonna skip breakfast. I'm gonna skip lunch. I'll probably eat dinner though.
He smiles and would do a side hug for now. All right, just take care of yourself. I want to spend some time with you since we haven't had any chances.
Yeah. I love you and your party. I don't think that it's your fault my friends are dead.
What?
He walks away real cool like.
He blames me. As she looks to Haru.
Look at me. I don't fucking know.
Why is it so difficult having siblings?
Well, yours doesn't fucking stab you, so that's a plus.
You are the problem child.
Yeah. Well,
But you're my stinky problem child.
thanks. Where are the others? Are we
Probably
gonna,
getting food.
we gonna talk to Tasha or what?
Yeah, we should do that eventually. But I don't know whether we'll have time before spirit training today, but we should definitely do it when we get back.
Sure.
Alright, let's get our grub on then.
Okay. So we have Sora and Emmet accounted for. They're getting ready to get their grub on. Lewis, what are you up to right now?
Lewis seems to take a little while to actually get up, but as his eyes are still closed from the night prior, coming toward the morning, a variety of images start to flash through his head, especially after the spirit training, causing him to reflect a bit more. He begins to see initially that image of him taking the blow from Tyrandrum. And then it shifts over to what seems to be him training in some sort of backyard, sprawling cities around, a place that would be very easily identifiable as Icarus. And as the sweat drips off his face, he looks up and he sees the face of a around middle-aged looking gentleman that looks very similar to Lewis. That just asks him, "You still at this?" Before it quickly flashes over, and it's almost just a blur to him of that same person and a elder woman, as he could just hear himself yelling before storming out of the building. And that's when Lewis would just wake up, breathing heavy. Damn it. He just rests his face on his hand for a second. No, let's not think about that right now. Let's just get it through. Come on. You got this. Come on. Smacks his face, just gets out of bed. And starts making his way toward the dining hall.
Excellent. Phoenix.
Phoenix, I think, slept very well. And given all the attention given to blueprints and whatnot, she has been playing in her mind for a while how to get this medical gun installed into Jenkins. So she's gotten up early. She's gone and been working on him since Clamdor's in a coma or whatever in the amber anyway. But once the food is available, she will go in there and grab a plate and just stack everything on it. I'm imagining they don't have much bacon here, but croissants, donuts, whatever. So as people enter, they'll see her holding a plate, like kind of against her body a little bit, and its food is stacked up to her chin, but she's not planning on sitting. She's going to be making her way through, maybe taking something off of somebody else's plate, not paying much attention to what she's doing, and she's going to be heading off to work on Jenkins.
Excellent. Jenkins looks at you and he tells you this. He asks you about the chip because he handles he's like your inventory guy too, you know. Why does this have my name on it, Phoenix?
I don't know. When I was in the jail, who had you?
Lando.
Fuck me. She like drops the plate of food and will grab the chip and inspect it. Does she know of a device she can put this in?
You've worked on Jenkins so much, especially during the upgrading process, to notice now that you're kind of looking for it, that there's been a really minor modification to him under his face. Not under his face, under the back of his head, just kind of the lower end of his head, like a slot
The
machine.
nape of the neck.
There we go. Why am I so stupid?
No, it's fine. I imagine he's still standing. She has this cloak now, so she's hovering up at his level. God damn it, he can't keep his... my machine. And she puts the stick in there.
Right? Just gets absorbed and his eyes start to kind of get wonky, or he doesn't really have eyes, but they just kind of glow like a light.
She flies around to the front of him. You okay, buddy? Oh God, I hope I didn't just give you a virus.
Yes. Now there's some overlap here, but it was an upgrade, and Jenkins now has the all the mechanical benefits of an automaton.
Oh my God! She is both bothered but ecstatic at the same time. Okay, wow, what is something you didn't know before that I can ask you?
It appears this is supposed to be, well, I have a message, but it may not be appropriate to tell you. It seems this upgrade was meant for when Clamdor died as a final gift.
Well,
Maybe we wait, Phoenix, but I am required to do as you say.
once upon a time I would have told you to tell me now. Who cares what the old coot thinks? But I'm supposed to be being a better person and all that stuff. You know what? Let's hold on to it. Maybe I'll visit him tonight and see if he wants to tell me.
He smiles. Of course, and he obliges. Now, when you do add this to a sheet, that includes the ASI, so 2 and 1 for con. 2 anyway, 1 for con.
Fantastic. So that medical gun is sitting on the floor, forgotten about, and she's checking out all the things he can do now because she's got to be able to give him commands.
Awesome. I imagine you're relatively late to breakfast.
Well, yeah, she had that pile of food. It's on the floor still too now. Oops.
Go. But the rest of you have it somewhat at the table while she is working on Super Jenkins. So as you guys meet up, I'll give you a few moments before, well, your next stuff begins. You're transitioning to your next period.
Any ideas of what's next? We've faced our turmoil, so what's next?
Oh, sure. She's just like biting 2 pieces of bread.
Hmm. Maybe facing our deepest insecurities?
Kind of hoping something a bit more practical. Maybe being able to keep calm or something.
Something practical about the spirit world?
Well, seems to have to do with something to do with your emotions. Maybe something to help keep your mind clear while you're fighting or something. I don't know.
Hmm. Whatever it is, I hope it helps us get a better understanding of how we're going to help Tasha.
Here's to open.
Seriously, both her and Dondo are getting more depressed by the day, and I don't know how much longer I can hold off Dondo's escapades. I saw
Yep.
something this morning that I can't unsee, Lewis. My eyes are still hurting.
He just raises an eyebrow.
You don't want to know. Details, at least.
I'll take your word for it. Just continues biting down on the bread.
And she just gives that look to Amruf that's like, oh boy.
I mean, all that and no game, right? Doesn't really help him.
Mm-mm.
While you guys are eating, Sakura walks in. Good morning, everyone.
Oh,
Mom.
not only Mother Nature.
We bow.
We don't do that here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And she would look behind herself, I'd imagine, at this point, because a few minutes later, Phoenix should be trailing in a little late.
Sakura?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was looking at drinking sheet.
No, you're good. I said that.
Yeah, she comes in.
Yeah, there you go. So Phoenix would be arriving a little bit late, just kind of running in here, but technically she's just on time. Mother Nature sees you dart inside, and she says to all of you, she goes, "The next stage of your spiritual training is prepared. You'll follow me out to Domingo.
Of course. Oof.
I won't be with you for
Sounds
this
good.
part of the training, but you'll be in capable hands. Domingo will also be there if you need any additional help."
Hey,
Would it
Mother.
capable hands other than Domingo?
Correct. This next stage of your training will be handled by Makata. If you have any questions, Domingo can answer some of them.
Makata.
Be gentle. What you see before you is a behemoth among creatures, but it is the last of its kind. And I'll let you set the table for what they see. However you choose, Domingo.
When everyone comes to the edge of one of the these little rope bridges things, when you get to like right there, you start to see this large, looming, friendly-looking creature's face just peeking through the brush, and it just goes.
Oh my god, it's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And then you see Domingo steps, who's been standing right next to you guys, but you guys haven't been able to see because he was using his plant. He just looks like a plant, so you're just there. He goes, hopefully you all had a great breakfast.
Please, may I pet the big puppy?
You must ask first, but they're pretty friendly.
Hello? May I pet you? Is that a yes or no?
That's a yes.
And she would excitedly raise her hand out and start patting him down.
This is the Mai Jiao Shu. They There's not many of them left on this world, but each one is more friendly than the last. Sadly, this is the last one.
Oh. Why is there only one?
Hunters.
Hmm.
People take too much. Well, please, we've already spent enough time. We should get going. Makunta doesn't wait for too many people. Come on, up you go, up you go.
May I ride you, big, beautiful puppy?
The tongue like goes and just gives you a big lick, like on the side, the side of your body, like on your arm and right through your face, and then your hair is like standing up even more than it was before because of the saliva.
Thank you. That was very cute. On we
That-
go.
That is definitely a yes.
I'm with her. Phoenix just points and follows behind Sora, hoping to dodge the tongue.
You successfully dodged the tongue.
Oh, my token went under the other token, but she's there.
Sakura
Yeah,
looks
no
over
idea.
to Domingo and just says to him, I'm sure they're in capable hands. Look after them. Much to attend to. And, she's talking about the meeting with Boris, the details on Tasha and stuff.
Of course, my lady.
Good luck, warriors. But if it's anything like yesterday, you'll do splendid. Then, because it's cool, drops down but shoots back up on the back of a wyvern and takes off.
All right, now everyone, keep your legs, arms, and tails onto my. Please don't grab any unfamiliar branches because you don't know if that branch is alive and wants you to touch them. Also, be sure to tip my with any special treats that you might have at the end.
Any
And
particular diet to keep in mind?
He's left his
nothing
kind. He can eat whatever he wants.
less, no meat type things, if that's okay.
God, it slowly puts away his jerky.
I don't suppose he wants nuts or bolts.
I have this
Wait.
candy Polly gave me a while ago.
Please don't feed the last creature on this of its kind on this world metal objects.
Yeah, it does.
What kind of candy?
I don't know. She just told me it was candy and gave it to me.
Maybe don't.
Oh, is it one of her pranks again?
Possibly.
She'll give the candy to Amrut.
You know, maybe we'll just forget the treat thing. Maybe we'll find something along the way.
Don't suppose we're gonna get any heads up on what this particular course is gonna be handling today.
Yes. Do you have any specific questions or?
General overview might be nice. Maybe help prepare our mindsets before whatever we jump into.
You're going to use the spirits to mend the unborn souls.
What?
That sounds cool.
Make sure to keep your lessons that you learned before in the forefront. Keep true to yourself and tap into what makes you, you. Otherwise, these souls that haven't really begun to live their life won't be able to. You're going to be meeting a woman named Makuta. She's a hag. Don't I say that, but please don't show her any disrespect. She can be a bit of a wild one.
Keep that in mind.
And isn't it disrespectful to call her a hag?
No, she actually prefers that title.
Oh.
Yeah, she used to be a lot more nefarious and have more evil tendencies in the past. But now she is one of the strongest preservers of nature that we have in the forest.
Well, she just sounds a little mischievous, maybe.
Yes. And if you're lucky, maybe she'll teach you her. She'll show you her best trick.
I do need to know how to prank a god, so that would be helpful.
If she asks for any volunteers, be mindful of what you get into. Looks like we're about here.
The Shao would get onto the side of the treehouse, lifting its feet to the edge and lowering its neck like a bridge or staircase or whatever. And Makata is just sitting there looking at all of you. Come down, my pretties.
Yes, ma'am.
Phoenix will nod when she slides down to the floor.
Lewis, are you a relative?
Real funny.
These other rune warriors I've heard so much about. They're as delicious as you described, Domingo.
Yes, Ma. But we're not here to eat them today, right?
No.
He's a playful kind of jab.
Only if their spirits are tainted. I'll slap them up if that's the case.
If that's the
Oh.
case, please do.
Well, I suppose on to the matter at hand. I am Makata, who I will be your teacher in this stage. Come, let us take you where you must go. This is my home. I hope you like it.
I really love how freeform it is.
Open floor design.
Very clever, Makoto.
Climb this ladder. Look right. There are eggs waiting to be nurtured.
Ooh.
Sora's really good at that.
We'll see.
So,
I found you friends.
He looks at Amran. You're speaking, chapter boy.
define tainted?
These children, these 8, are destined to die. Maybe with your intervention, they will live. For nature, their survival matters not. We believe in a cycle. If today is their task to survive, they live. If not, they return to the land that birthed them.
Okay. Sure.
You know a thing or two about recycled goods, don't you?
How do you mean?
You don't know. I suppose the experience was quite taxing on you.
He kind of like squints at her.
I guess Domingo has kept my secret well. You live today, not because of Clamdor's vast machines, but because of me, boy. I resurrected you with the resources the old fool gathered.
What was the machine for then?
To pay the price of admission. The magic alone was worthless without the suitable diamond exchange normally required, a hoard that we had not the time to gather.
And those transactions go through you. That's what you're saying.
Yes, people like me.
Well, thanks anyway.
Don't thank me. If it was up to me, she looks at Domingo, we would not have wasted our one chance of restoring you someone to life. Would have been better spent if Mother Nature, for example, died. I don't dislike you, boy. I just don't think you were worth the price.
Mingo just kind of looked to Emrut. He feels very similarly, but doesn't show that and just says, remember to stay true to who you are. And make her eat her words. You are
Oh, no.
worthy. You'll be fine.
I agree. But I will anyway.
He watches you go to the room to the right, which she definitely told you this in private with just Domingo. And before she joins you all in the room, you can probably see, I don't know how much, if Emmerich wants to play off the disturbing conversation, you can do a deception roll, otherwise you'll see that he's a little disturbed. But as for you, Domingo, Kata walks over to you. It was cruel, the truth. Unfortunately, us hags are not good at lying.
He knows. The truth will allow him to continue and move forward. There's no need to lie in a place like this with what they're trying to do.
The council has offered me a seat that wouldn't be necessary if we still had the machine. Our friend would be here now. Speaking to the character Lost in Crimes Against Magic.
When she says that the council's offer her a seat, is this because there's like a whole thing when it comes to like voting somebody in? Does that mean like she's gonna jump all of that
No,
stuff?
no, she's going to have to go to the voting process. She's more appropriately nominated for a seat.
Got it.
And she's rough around the edges, but she's been very useful to the council and to the world, even if she's not in the spotlight.
Well, I hope your nomination goes as well as it can.
I trust I have your vote.
It would be unfair to tell you that you have my vote. But just know that I will be voting for whoever I see can bring the best path for our future. For the people and the environment around it.
Honesty. It's got its fangs. No. He walks into the room. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello again.
This is a stage of your development There are 4 eggs among the 7 here. Grab whichever one, it doesn't matter. Each are on the verge of death, but what you can do is give them life again by capturing their flame before it completely extinguishes. But their bodies are already beyond recovery. What you must do is tap into their soul and cleanse them. For a strong spirit begats and brings forth a strong body. You could save them.
I see. Any piece of advice?
Yeah, I'm kind of better with machinery than living things.
Oh, I've seen this once before. She pulls at the egg pouch that she has around her shoulder and pulls out the cracked egg of Aethon. Mother Nature saved this one before.
Oh, you like. You could consider these eggs a test subject.
Yes, I can maybe try and feel what Aethon still has, and then I can try and... Yes, I think I see a path. As she'll set Aethon down in her lap and kind of just put her hands on the egg and get a familiar sensation of Mother Nature's magic on Aethon.
Each of you, 1 egg.
Phoenix will take whichever one she finds is the smallest. And she will sit with it cross-legged on the ground and hold it in her lap and put her hands on it and try to get familiar with it.
Okay, you should have control over this egg.
Oh, cool.
Sora,
will,
go ahead.
Lewis will pick whichever egg seems to have like the roughest surface. And just kind of wander his way toward the side against the wall.
Zoro will put a hand on Aethon and then reach into the nest, closing her eyes. How about you pick me who you want to be your brother or sister? And she would touch and grab the first egg that comes into contact with her. And kind of sets them both in her lap, almost as if they're a pair, and goes cross-legged and trancing.
Remember?
Me? I'll get one of the remaining eggs. Very awkwardly, with as much care as possible.
Once you all have an egg, you'll notice it changes color, the shell at least. And all of them are cracked or bruised in some kind of manner that's obvious. Sora's turns is golden as her hair, emerald, purple. Phoenix, you only put 1 glow on these eggs, but it's about as colorful as your hair. And for Lewis, about as silver as yours. You see, you've already grown so much. The test yesterday automatically betraying itself today. Your eggs changed colors. It is because you're already tapping into the spirits within them. But it will take much to save these children. The axe beat. Are you familiar?
No.
Slightly. Not too much.
Would a nature check count for seeing if my character's
Yeah.
familiar?
Definitely not an Arcana check. What is
I
your?
think I read about
I'm in a book.
Yeah, you'd be fairly familiar with the axe beaks. Yes. They're like large ducks with their face and beak, like an axe, hence the name. But not many of them. A long time ago. Real long time ago. Holy shit, I'm old. They used to be the primary transport in the world, replacing horses, wyverns, griffins. No, everyone had an axe beak to go from point A to point B. And so we preserve them here in the city of our roots. And what you have here is some of the last few, but there's about 30 others. Now that may sound like a big number, but in the grand scheme of the world, it's extremely small. Now, today's lesson is simple. I told you a story, little insight into their world, into their life. You must take them to the baskets of water over there. Place them inside. And you must share a story to them by focusing entirely on your own spirit and theirs. The dual task, one of connection in the physical world, which are your stories, and another connection, the other side, spiritual connection. If you have questions for me, may I ask? If not, then get to whichever bucket you think looks the nicest.
What kind of story? Like a something we've read before, or
Whatever you think will bond you to the creature. Something personal, because this is a personal matter.
about life?
Anything. The more extraordinary, or the more deep, or the more telling, the better for their survival. Then, when you think you're ready, you will attempt to cleanse them. Something I'm told your group is experienced with before.
I have attempted it with my friends a couple of times on different creatures. It takes a lot, so I'm happy to have a path of learning more how to do it.
After today, cleansing will just be another tool if you succeed. Good luck. I'll be here. I'll look like I'm asleep, but that's because I really am. So speak up.
Have sweet dreams.
And she sits down, crisscross applesauce, with her staff in front of her, and you see her. She lights up her staff, like it's some type of candle. And at the top of the staff, he puts a garlic in a little pan and starts cooking it as she closes her eyes and hums a song. She's he goes on and on, and it's kind of soothing, even though her appearance or how she acts may be off-putting. It's almost like this song she's singing is setting a zen aura around you, because it is.
When she sits down, Domingo will sit as well and just pull out these little materials, and he'll start making these very intricate looking fishing lures as he just listens and watches on.
It's a song Domingo knows well. It's meant to bridge the physical world and the spiritual world to increase the chances of the eggs surviving. You know that Makata is cheating in a sense. She's not giving them an egg, but she's aiding them. And that's because she doesn't want the axe beaks to die, but she'll never say as much.
All right, everyone. Is there anyone who wants to try first?
You mean we gotta like watch each other? I was kind of hoping we'd all just go at once and pay
We can
attention
do it
to
that
only
way.
ourselves.
Very well. There is wisdom in your words, Phoenix. Everyone, assume the positions and dunk your eggs.
And who comfortable with telling their story first? Whatever story you want.
I'll go ahead and take it. Sora sits cross-legged before the bucket, and both of her palms are holding the underside of this egg as she raises it above it. She looks at it, thinking of the story that best describe her soul, and she smiles slowly. How about to tell you a story where only I know the beauty that came about that day? And she slowly lowers the egg down, and when her fingers and her palms breach the surface as the egg goes under, it's kind of like a transitional shot as smaller, pudgier hands of a child like Sora are splashing in the ocean sea. The island around her having strong waves on the sides, but in this one spot, it's almost calm, tranquil. And the voice of a younger Zuru speaking to her. Come now, Sora. The tango will be going beneath the waves soon. And she looks up and she sees that the grand island she is on is moving slowly downward. She notices the waters rising, lapping at her feet now. Coming, Zuru! As she is not as graceful at this age, as she just kind of waddles very quickly after him, grabbing onto his hand as she is guided to the monastery built on the turtle's back. As they get inside, the stone walls kind of slowly shift and move, closing off, becoming airtight. But there's this one part Zuru takes her to that has almost this clear wall, whether it's magic or some other form of viewing, as the turtle dips below the waves. And Sora and Zuru watch as, when the water settles and clears, she sees the underwater world. There are large sharks, there are whales, there are schools of fish and jellyfish. And she is just sharing this moment with Zuru. But the turtle keeps diving deeper, deeper, and deeper, until there's just no light left. Until there is light again. Strange bioluminescent light dancing in the shadows as she and Zuru watch. There's so much beauty even without light, she remembers herself saying, and it's the day she discovered that even when light is at its darkest, when the dark is so encompassing, there is still light to be found inside, no matter how small. she thinks of those lights, thinks of all those strange creatures that exuded it, as she will pour that light into the egg.
Okay. So you guys notice something interesting. While she's telling her story to the egg, and she's trying to pour her light into it, the water the egg is in is boiling, like the egg is being cooked. But we'll see the result of that in a moment. Let it stew a little. Who would like to tell their story next?
Phoenix will go. So, she's holding this egg with both her arms underneath it, and almost like you check the temperature of the water, even though she's fine. I'm sure it's fine. She just barely puts like the bottom of the shell in it. And she starts to talk to it. I really like your colors. I wish I had accepted my colors as quickly as you have shown yours. I'm gonna tell you a story of a tall, dark, and handsome guy by the name of Pascal. He wasn't always tall, dark, and handsome. He used to be a little bit shorter. One day, his mom brought home a rascally looking girl who seemed to be lost. And for some reason, that guy loved her as if she was a sister of his own. This little girl was a troublemaker. I'll tell you what, she ate his food. She did his laundry wrong, so his white shirts came out pink. But he never let any of that bother him. He could always see that there was something good in her. Unfortunately, this girl was a little too smart for her own good. Smarter than the teachers that she was surrounded with. They didn't know what to do with her. She would sneak ingredients, she would sneak components, and she would combine them just to see what they would do. One day she made an unfortunate combination and it exploded, turning the whole room green. Pascal's room green. There was another guy who made fun of her, said she was never going to amount to anything. Pascal shooed him away, took the little girl out to the backyard, and taught her how to shoot a crossbow. Not that it was something a young girl needed to know at that point in time, but it was something that got her mind off of the naysayers. Something that got her mind focused on something else. And as during that time, he taught her how to embrace her colors. To the point where she redid that experiment a couple times, this time purposefully, finding just the right things to make it not just green, but purple and blue and all the beautiful colors that you're showing right now. So I encourage you, have your colors. They are beautiful. And while she's doing this, unlike Sora, who has white energy going into hers, or light energy, Phoenix has some of her shadow energy. And I think she is unintentionally using her shadow rune, shadow heal, to where some of Phoenix's energy is draining out of her and into the egg.
Excellent. Your water begins to boil. And as the second story is told, Amaret and Lewis, while the results aren't final yet, you can see that at the very least the cracks are beginning to disappear. Not all of them, but some of them are being fixed as light beams into one egg and shadow into the other. Sun and moon dances together. Amaret or Lewis, who would like to go next?
Lewis, kind of watching Sora and Phoenix go about their stories, just stares down at his egg for a moment. The hell kind of story am I supposed to tell? And as he kind of looks at the outer exterior of the egg, very rough, a few cracks along the edges, and looking a lot more gray than silver, with the lack of that metallic shine. An image pops in his head of a certain rune that had existed for quite some time, that was eventually reborn. And he just closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, and a slight smirk forms. Alright. Guess it's about time I let this one out. He slowly holds the egg with just like his organic arm and slowly lowers it into the water and kind of just like lets his fingers rest along the rim of the bucket. Once upon a time, there was a young boy, one whose fire rune burned brighter than most. A flame that, whenever he walked into a room, would cause everybody within to smile. He was by no means perfect, but he'd always intended for the best. But one day, while protecting somebody that he considered, he kind of pauses for a moment, almost like hesitating to say something, but takes a deep breath, trying to protect someone he called a friend. A cost was paid. That cost being that room. With a single slice of a tail, both his arm and the abilities that allowed him to help so many was severed from him. And no matter how much he tried to call out to it, it wouldn't respond. Almost as dull as the color that you are now. And for the longest time, he made mistake after mistake. He let himself drown in the sorrow of that loss. Drown and simply try to numb everything, to not need to face it. And along that time, and he ended up making a deal with somebody. A group of unsavory individuals. Even one that met just for a little bit of gold. A little bit of cost that might be able to help him go another day without needing to think about the mistakes he'd done. But, of course, with one without the ability to do the job that he'd hoped, the only job that he knew how to do, there wasn't much chance to really pay back that gold. And day after day, they'd come back seeking to take back what that was ours, what was theirs. And when he couldn't pay, he ended up having to pay with more physical treatment than would be preferred to most. With every bruise day after day, There was always the wonder in the back of his mind of why was he doing this. And he'd always look at his rune. Still dull and unresponsive. And every time, he'd always reach to the sword and shield he'd carried around with him. Long overused, to the point where they really shouldn't have been operable anymore. But he still kept it on him anyway. One day when those men came and did whatever they could to make themselves feel better, they'd made a joke of trying to take away that sword and shield, of maybe selling it off. After all, somebody that wasn't of much use in combat wouldn't need such a thing. But something sparked in him that moment. Various memories would flow. The smiles of those people that he once helped. The laughter of the people that he brought hope to. With the relief that he once brought. And with every memory, he slowly stood up, battered and bruised. But that rune that had stayed dormant for 20 years, it started to flicker. Ever so slowly with every step. You could feel the orange and red light start to come back to it. Until finally, when he finally made up his mind, finally remembered why he wanted to help people in the first place. It was when that rune finally awakened again and engulfed him in a flame that he thought long disappeared, but was still there. The fight that day was probably the hardest one he'd fought in a long time. But by the end of it, he ended up coming out the victor. And as they ran into the hills, that man was so tired that he just collapsed, but smiled, knowing that he'd finally found his purpose again. And he would do anything in order to continue it. And as he tells the story in those brief moments before the fire rune is awakened, he seems to be slowly seeping in the Shadow Rune's energy, kind of emitting more of the energy he felt when the energy that man felt during that time. But as descriptions of the fire rune starting to awaken appear, the orange of the fire rune starts to crawl across his shoulder blades, down his arm, to the fingertips, and into the water, as this symphony of purple, black, red, and orange slowly swirl within the water. And he just looks down at it, not really recognizing the color change per se, but just delving deep into the memory. Don't give up. Because no matter what, even when you think that flame is gone, there's probably still a few embers left that want to burst forth. You just need to be willing to take them.
Okay. And how does it look, your energy? What does it appear when you transmit it into the egg? Color-wise, feeling-wise?
Initially, it's almost feelings of grief initially, when the Shadow Rune is starting to seep through. But as it starts to shift over to the Fire Runes, the emotion shifts to sheer hope. Hope and determination of what could be and what will continue to drive. as visually speaking, you would all start to see that along his arms, what seems to be like orange, red, and purple and black energy, almost like water, starts to slowly trickle down from his fingertips and into the water. Kind almost like food coloring starting to mix together into a swirling pot.
Okay. And the water boils, and the cracks start to contract. And there's only one story left. Is Emerald back though?
He just left.
Or did he just leave on
Bad timing, dude.
Awful time. So while we wait for Amber to return, we're gonna, since it's late, we're going to pursue what's going on with your energy transmissions to them. Sora, Phoenix, and Lewis, for now, you guys can give me a d20 roll, and you can choose to use nature, religion, or you can choose a d20 roll with twice your proficiency bonus and no stat.
I'll take the proficiency bonus.
If you succeed on this roll, you'll save the egg. If you fail this roll, then your particular egg didn't make it, which might not be your fault. It might have just been too far lost, and you at least gave it a few moments of peace before.
Amrut's
I'm
back
sorry.
too, so he can do that.
Cool. You said nature, religion, or what?
Or you can do no stat, but get to add twice your proficiency bonus.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Plus
back.
6.
Okay. All right. So you know what? We'll do that all together then. Since she's back. So, Amber, you're the final story. What is your story for your egg?
All right. I should have fucking went before him. Let me think. I got it. Well, Emmerich doesn't have a lot of happy stories. So he'll not know how to care for anything. He'll like first just have the egg just like bobbing like a buoy in the water with no support at first. And then he'll look around and then do the same as like kind of like hold it in the water. And he'll just like look down at it. Sorry, you got the short straw. I don't really have any happy stories. I've only recently had any kind of happiness ever, which I figured would probably be better for you to, I don't know, use to keep going. I do know the first good thing I ever did. Of course, it still starts like any story of mine. Killing someone in the dead of night. My blade against some rich guy's throat. And I look down, and under his desk I see his kid, probably looking to surprise her old man. And then she just saw. The people who sent me didn't tell me that he had a kid or a wife or anyone but himself, that he did everything for himself. So I went digging and found that was a lie as well. That it was all blackmail, everything he ever did, every deal he ever made. Just keep his family safe. They were testing me to see what I would do with that knowledge if I'd kill them too. So I burnt the place to the ground. But unbeknownst to them, I found every favor, every person I put the fear of anything unholy into. I was able to stash the daughter and the wife in a cabin in the woods, remote, where no one would ever find them. Didn't know why I was doing it. Didn't have a bone like that in my body. Just didn't sit right seeing that scared kid. Seeing myself, maybe. I don't know. But it was then that I knew I wanted to preserve life, not take it. And then I went back to those people. And now here I am. I don't know if that's a good story to tell of another child, I guess, but yeah. I never told anyone that. He kind of just like looks off. As it's still holding the egg in the water.
What is the trail of energy that leaves your body and leaps into the egg? How does that look for you?
Want to preserve life. I don't know if they're still there. But even if not, I'd want to start with you.
Okay. And the aura, what would you say the color is and stuff? Amber, you there? Or is it me? Can you guys hear me?
I hear
We
you.
hear you.
We can hear you.
Average?
You okay over there?
Uh-oh.
We'll assume for now that maybe it's purple.
Oh no, we don't
Okay.
get into the memory.
So we'll go top down, left, right, how you presented on the map. So that would be starting with Dora, Phoenix, then hopefully Emmett's back, then Lewis. So Sora, we're about to see whether you're. Oh, you're. We can hear you again.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, no. Did I tell the whole story and no one heard me?
No, we heard
No,
everything.
we heard the story.
Oh, thank fucking God. I stopped. I didn't hear anything. I saw my headset was unplugged, and I was like,
Oh,
okay.
It's top. I guess I had asked you one more question. How does your aura look on the egg? Like, what color was it when you fed it your spirit energy?
I would say it's like a light. It probably starts off like a reddish tint, but then it turns into like a almost white, kind of like a bluish kind of like, it's kind of like when he uses his rune abilities, essentially.
Okay. Not purple. No. Once you feed it
Fair.
energy, we're all gonna see now. You might have missed this earlier, so I'll cover it very briefly. Sorry guys, I know I'm repeating everything. We're about to make a roll one at a time, top down, left, right. You know the drill. To see if our eggs lives or dies. If it dies, then what you did was not necessarily failed, but you gave it a little bit of peace before it passed on. In order to determine that, you're going to do a D20 test using nature or religion. If you're not proficient in either of those, you can instead use twice your proficiency. Now, you may choose to use that twice your proficiency anyways if it's still better than those other skills number-wise. But ultimately, you can decide what you want to do, and we're starting with you, Sora. See if your egg survives.
As Sora holds it in the water that appears to be boiling, this light will take shape as similar to her divine hands. There's just the light manifests into these multiple arms that lay gentle palms upon the egg. I will expend a point of inspiration to roll this twice. 21 being the highest result.
All right. Your egg begins to shake, and the cracks start to reemerge as if you didn't do it correct, and the egg shatters. But laying in the water as you get concerned, tiny Axbeak is born.
Oh, hello, little one.
Golden duck-like one. Makata goes over to you. Well done.
Oh, he's so cute. Let's call him Donbeak.
On beak. All right. And then you hear something going on next to you as Phoenix begins the process. What are you doing, Phoenix?
She has lowered it while she was telling the story, like all the way in. And I want to say the cracking kind of catches her off guard. At first, she's like, oh no, what am I doing? The shadow is going into. And with the 12, we'll see.
Okay. As you kind of pour your energy into it, the cracks look more dramatic, different. Like dark electricity pours over your egg, and yours explodes.
Her hands come up to block her face.
And the smoke clears out, and you see a really dark Axbeak there. You need a 10 or higher.
Oh, you're beautiful.
And she looks at Amrut. Oh, go on now. If the boy or girl lives, we'll get it back to its mother, where a boy belongs.
Okay. And what were the two options again? It was nature and then what else?
Nature, religion, or a D20 with twice your proficiency, but no stat. No stat.
I will have to do that. Okay. Let's see here.
Hey.
Easy on you. Okay. Oh,
Oh.
Plus 6 up.
yeah. Your egg. When your egg hatches, and you cleanse it, and you told a sad story. Maybe that's exactly what this one needed, for whatever reason. Everyone's different. And as the egg opens, Makate, rune beast, an animal with rune powers. This is exceedingly rare in this day and age.
I did that, or
You did, my boy. Well done.
Good job, Amrut.
I'm just happy it's alive.
And you see it speaks to you in deep speech. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, you're talking to it. Rune warriors and have a connection to the particular language, like Aaron, Orin. Rune beasts know the language of the Shadow Rune, which is deep speech. You've done exceedingly well. Your parents must be proud of you.
Maybe so.
Well, what is worth, I'm proud of you. You did a good job, oh fat egg. Then he walks over to Lewis. Let's see if you can do it, mister.
Let's see. Oh, just barely.
The roughest experience. The child comes out of the egg, but it still appears injured in a sense, as it just kind of lays there. It's kind of just drooping and looking up at you.
Lois slowly lowers his hand into the water, almost like creating a bridge for it, as he faces the palm up to slowly raise it out of the water. Hey, little guy.
Kind of got
Really?
a lazy neck. It's trying to lift its head up to look you in your eyes.
Don't worry. You're gonna be a lot weak. You're gonna be pretty weak for a while. But if you try hard enough and have the right mindset, maybe you'll be able to make it. Perhaps even better than some of the others around here. As Lois is going to try to channel his fire room heal into the axe beak.
You would succeed with the connection you already forged with it. You're able to heal it, and the strength returns to its body. Such a small creature, its neck gets strengthened, and it looks up at you. First noise it makes since its birth.
There you go. Hang in there, Quench. They'll do good.
All right, everyone. The love show is over. She pulls out this big cage. Let's get them in here.
All right, Donbeak, play nice, and puts him in the cage.
The parents will be happy to see their children survived. Once you leave here, I'll take them to their mother and father.
Phoenix places hers in the cage and goes to do her two-finger salute, but rather than just let it linger at the end of her glasses, she brings her fingers down and touches its beak real quick and then backs off.
Yes. And she kind of collects them, and the one that Emmerich has, he gets defensive because it wants to stay with Emmerich. She's like, "You've got a mother, boy. Can't abandon her. Come on!" And it summons a shadow friend, so it's like a shadow baby axe beak behind it, wrapping it up, protecting it in its armor. You see Makata wave her hand, and she sleep spells it. Don't worry, Emmerich. This child goes with you now. When it's older, it'll regret not having a relationship with its mother, and its mother will regret losing its child. So, even though you feel a connection to this axe beak, it's important that we get it back to its family.
No, yeah, I wouldn't want to rob it of that.
All right, you're projecting a little bit. Just back up a little.
All right.
Who knows? Maybe it'll find you someday.
Maybe.
I always do. And she puts him in the cage. All right, Domingo. I think they know what they can achieve now. And like when she says that and you realize what you did, like it takes you a moment to realize what the hell you did. You guys unlock Cleanse, which I will share for you now. Which is, I'm going to copy and paste it real quick, and then you guys will see it reappear in your document. Cleanse is a bit unique as it has it's at will, but there's also a secondary feature on the cleanse that hold on, reading it, make sure it's correct. Yeah, it's correct. That is once per rest. And here it is. You guys can now potentially cleanse anything that you want, just as you did in the past, but more proficient.
Nice.
Ooh. Actually giving a mechanic to what we've been trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Are there any questions? Because I know the rules can be confusing sometimes on cleanse, spirit, or we good?
I think you got it.
Neat. You guys all are now healers once per rest as well, so that's cool.
Hey.
Thank God.
Ryder looks at you and goes, all right, well, I have more students coming. Dondo and Tasha are going to try this with the last 2 eggs. So if you don't mind getting them loaded up, Domingo, and getting them out of here.
Yes. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. Let's go. Come on.
Thank you for this experience, Makota.
Yes, yes, yes.
Can I call you Auntie?
Yes, you can call me Auntie.
Can I get a hug?
Of course you can get a hug.
And she hugs Makota.
He just smiles like...
All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
The shower's just ready for you guys. Is Domingo likely has something to call it, whether it's a whistle or a signal short?
Yeah. Domingo will do a little whistle and then kind of stand there and make sure everyone's kind of walking out. Like, all right, good job. Great work. Emirates, Lewis.
I'm not hugging you, but
I don't want a
thanks.
hug. Thank you very much. I'm not the hugger of this
You're
group.
talking to me, Domingo, because Sora hugged me.
Okay, good.
Phoenix
reaches out to Athon and just places a hand on the shell gently and smiles at you, Sora. He'll be here soon, right?
I mean, he nearly died. I think he's allowed some extra time to grow up.
I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Me as well. I've been looking forward to the day I get to meet him.
Can you all get loaded in and situated, and I will be there shortly.
Sounds good.
That's odd.
Makota, can I speak to you for a moment?
Boys, I knew you'd come around on that vote.
Yes. I'll kind of come over here. So definitely not like in earshot, and definitely not so they can see. Come around the corner, and I'll say, Makota,
Yes.
a question about, since we are being honest and want to live with that policy, right?
Most of the time. Sometimes I cheat.
Is that why you haven't told him? You instead belittled him about why his worthiness of being brought back to life, but you didn't tell him his relationship to you.
You know, I had disagreed on the notion until I realized who it was.
And after today, what you saw in there, tell me, how do you feel about your son?
He's grown into a fine young man. I hate the lady that gave him up many years ago. But I was a different person back then. Hunted by Sakura, not helping Sakura. And I think that what he has now, I could never have given him. It's best he doesn't know that his mom is someone like me.
You have changed since years before. However, beings like yourself and me have longer lifespans than them over there. Maybe it's something to think on. You might want to say something before it's too late.
One day, I just hope. One day, Domingo.
Domingo will put out his hand to give her a shake and say, "Thank you for your help today. And please make sure to report anything that comes amiss from when you do the other students later on.
Yes.
I know there are many people besides Mother Nature who are interested."
All right, Domingo. It's great catching up.
Yes.
And you could feel Domingo got this. It was real serious right there, even though she tries to play it off. It hurt to talk about it.
Yeah.
See you later, you shit pissers.
She's fun.
All right, everybody, let's go. Let's go.
That lady's fucking weird.
Oh, don't be rude.
You're telling me.
I'll be the one to say it, okay?
I mean, it's the truth.
I mean, you're weird, Amrut.
But not that weird, right?
We're all
Some
pretty
days.
From my
You look-
experience, it's better to be a little weird than to be boring. That's just her little eccentric. She's a little eccentric, but
Fair.
You did look at some black goop that you knew Clamdor injected into his eye and decide that would be fun.
I'm sorry, what?
That's not
Nothing.
weird. That's me in a fucking panic attack.
Oh.
It's different.
Is it?
That sounds like a fun story for our ride back home.
Okay, well, you see, and
Yeah.
goes right into
Yeah, the shower goes, and the story begins. But for us, our story comes to a close, at least for tonight. Thank you all for playing, and thank you all for watching. This concludes episode 52 of Phantoms of the Past.
Whoop, whoop.
Rest everybody stream.
my stream.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Your boy Falcon. Now I'm flying out.
Mommy?
Out of fear, we kept running, tried to hide away. Can you hear? War is coming, beckoning our fate. This is the day that we stand up. This is the day we fight. We'll take our place, we won't give in. Our victory's in sight. Only a sword in our hand, but we enter the lion's den. We're not waiting for a war.